4,696 pound curb weight. It does have 328 horsepower with 326 pound-feet of torque, but it is a turbo 4, which when we've reviewed this vehicle before, it just felt a little heavy, a little noisy. So could this be an alternative to a Yukon, considering it's the same powertrain as the Buick Enclave, and it's not as refined as that V6 that we lost? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and the example we're showcasing today is in the Glacier White over After Dark interior. The Denali trim and the AT4 are kind of the two sweet spots. The Denali Ultimate obviously gives you all the features. But what we're going to go over here, because I personally own a Turbo 4, is if it's going to be a refined drive, which you'll see later on in the drive part of this review, how the interior is compared to the competition, and we're going to start off with the most important thing that people neglect, the LED headlights at daytime runnings. The nice thing here is we got the animated feature, which for over $66,000, I think this should be standard on every single vehicle. It's a C structure that implements into the enlarged grille. You get the chrome surrounding it with the GMC letters. The lower is going to get the glossy black. Now with the Denali, you usually get more chrome. So I like that they've added some gloss black on the lower so it offsets it. Front parking sensors, 7.3 inches of clearance, and you could get about 0.5 inches more clearance going into the AT4, which is the trim underneath this. Comparing this against the Yukon, which is one of my favorite. I actually like the exterior styling and the interior of that vehicle. That's going to obviously have that naturally aspirated V8, but we've had a lot of natural problems with that V8, and they still don't really have a fix to it. Here you have a 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder turbocharged engine producing 328 horsepower with 326 pound-feet of torque that's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, achieving 20 mpgs for the city, 26 mpgs for the highway, with a combined at 22 mpg. That's on the front-wheel drive configuration, and that will reach 60 around 6.5 to 7.8 seconds, with a top speed between 118 and 130 miles per hour. Now with those MPGs, you're literally only getting 1 MPG more to the city and 1 MPG more to the highway. So what's the point of going to this turbocharged 4? Yes, the administration did change all this. So now we don't need these turbocharged 4s, nor do we need that auto start, because it's no longer a law that's implemented. We have the upgraded 22-inch pearl nickel machined alloy wheels with the performance suspension. So now when you're thinking Denali Ultimate, well, we're ticking the box to those features and saving a little dough. I don't think I'm going to be keeping my turbocharged 4. We're still thinking about whether to keep it or trade it. We're almost at the year, almost at 10,000 miles. I'll put a review up once we get to the year, so that way I will explain everything in detail to my personal Turbo 4, but I definitely would not buy another Turbo 4. If this had the V6, I would probably consider it. LED taillights, this also has the animated feature. You get the gloss black that's going to implement through the center, and the Denali print is going to be on top of it, which mimics the Enclave. Digital rear view mirror, 360-degree reverse camera, reverse parking sensors. The lower gets the glossy black with a touch of the chrome because it's the Denali. I like the Acadia because this slots right underneath I like the Acadia because if I am cross-shopping between the Yukon and this, I will save 2 to 6 MPGs, plus a ton of dough, because those are typically $80,000 to near $90,000 now, which is right at Cadillac money. So then the price scheme does start changing the game too, because at the price that we're at here, you could option a Buick Enclave Avenir for about $1,000-ish less than this, and you would get the massage seats. Let me know which way you would go in the comments. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe and the like, because all these clicks help with the algorithm so we can bring more SUVs to the channel. Power liftgate or walk-up liftgate, and that's going to give us 23 cubic feet of storage. It does take a few minutes to open up. All of the mechanics to put the seats down here with a 12-volt. Underneath the floor, you'll have some storage and drain plugs, with a side-to-side at 52 inches, a front-to-back 2 feet, right at 24 inches. And to split fold the third row at a 60-40 split, you just simply push the buttons, but you gotta hold the buttons, which is a con to me because we're at $60-some thousand. That is going to increase the cargo capacity to 57.3 cubic feet, with the front-to-back at 53.5 inches. And to fold the captain seats down, you just simply push these buttons right here, and it'll do everything for you. Maxing cargo to 97.5 cubic feet, which is a lot. That's giving you 90 inches, over 7 feet from front to back. Key fob to the Acadia Denali. 12-way power seat adjustment for the driver, 10-way power seat adjustment for the passenger. Heated ventilated front seats, you get the Denali embossed, you get the pattern. This is a perforated leather. You also get memory, 12 speakers through Bose. Now going underneath this trim, you won't get the memory, you're not going to get the leather seats, but you can option features, so just keep that in mind. This is the sweet spot, considering this is just underneath the Denali Ultimate. So now if you're looking for a small alternative to the Yukon, this is the way to go. But one thing, the Yukon will have a storage here where this is just a cover. So I don't actually like that. That's definitely a con. You get the large 15-inch screen with the air vents there. It actually looks identical to the Yukon in the interior. As for knee space, I have about 4 inches here, and I have an additional 3.5 inches. I'm at 6'3". You get the wood inlays with the Denali, and that carries on behind the infotainment screen. You still have a physical button here, and it finishes off on the driver's side. Let's fire it up. We're gonna just go through the specs real quick. An 8-inch heads-up display. You got the auto-dimming rear view mirror, home link, LED interior lights, a large pano that goes to the second row, and this huge 15-inch infotainment screen with wireless connectivity like your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio. They do have some physical buttons, but they're still really through this touchpad. So you'll click here to turn on and off your lights, you click here to go into your settings, and you click here to turn on and off the lane keeping assist. The climate control is here, as well as a knob for your radio or sound system to turn on and off. You're still touching that screen, but you do have physical buttons down here for the climate control. This opens up into a wireless charging pad, 2 USB ports, and you have a storage tray. A full pass-through. Down through here, you'll have a 12-volt. This is going to be more firm, even though it looks like it would be soft. It's really just a cover, but there isn't a lot of cushion. Opens up into a storage tub. That picks up into a deeper storage pocket. Wrap steering wheel, it's heated. Multi-function. We get the Denali in the center. Super cruise control. This can be optioned on all 4 trims. 11.3-inch gauge cluster that can be configurable with the navigation, and you could go through an array of different content for the driver. Knee space on the driver's side, I have over 5 inches, and then on this side, I have about 5.5 inches, and more than enough headroom, and you can let me know the dimensions in the comments. For me, I like the vehicle. If I was looking at a Yukon or even the Buick Enclave, I think this is a good setup because this is the brother to the Enclave. Door panel and dash, you're gonna have a little bit more harder materials to my liking. The wood does come into play, and you get that pattern, so I do appreciate that. One touch up and down only for the driver window. It's gonna be soft here because they actually put a little cushion over that firm material with a medium storage pocket and a beverage holder carved out, and it has sound, and it has active sound cancellation standard. For the back seats, this is the opening that you have to fit 2 more because we have the captain seat configuration, 3rd climate control, home plug, and your USB-C ports, heated rear seats, storage here, storage behind both of the front seats. The door card is gonna have some similarity to the Buick Enclave, especially this area here for the grab handle, and it's gonna have a little bit soft, and it'll have some soft materials that's gonna wrap the firm plastic. I like the pattern that comes into play. You get the wood and almost the same size storage pocket as the front. The Ultimate will give you 16 speakers through Bose. So it also gives you massage seats in the front. I just don't know if it's enough for me to go up to that level. Knee space behind me in the driver's seat, I have over 5 inches. You sit up higher here, so headroom is going to be a little bit less. You have the air vents back here, but no manual sunshades, and we're over 60 grand. Now this does adjust forward, making it cramped for me here, but giving a ton of leg space for the 3rd row. And of course, that's all the way back. 3rd row access, push the button, and it's gonna adjust forward. That gives us almost 18 inches, so that's pretty impressive considering this is smaller than the Yukon, so it is something that is doable if you are looking for that alternative like I've been talking about. You have a cup holder, maybe a mint holder here. You get a USB-C port here as well as here. Let's fold this seat back so we see how I look. My knees are pretty much against the back of the second row. Headroom is optimal though, and the air vents are right in front of me. If the seat is back, I'm gonna sit in the center just so you could see. I will not be able to fit back here. So really, if you have kids that's over 6 foot tall, try to keep them in the captain's seat area. You're gonna be sharing some feet, butt, leg, and shoulder space, and this bulges out quite a bit, so it does take some space, but I still have about 19 inches, which is actually pretty good considering most SUVs in this second row have 19 to 20 inches. So it just shows you how large this vehicle really is. Now, as you get up to a higher speed, the road noise does filter in from the wheels, but the suspension itself is pretty good. It does feel long and it does feel wide, literally like a baby Yukon is the best way you can really talk about the dimensions of this vehicle. Turbo 4, it does have some power if you got to pass somebody, and maneuverability. You will have some weight to the steering wheel, but I actually like that. Turn radius at a stop point, it's going to be about 3 lanes. Let's rock and roll. Now, realistically speaking, you're not going to be doing a lot of rocking and rolling with this. And as for the performance, and the brakes. Turbocharged 4, it's not going to be the most athletic vehicle. It can feel fast at times, but it does feel heavy. And that's the issue with these turbocharged 4s. Now, obviously you get used to it, but if you have driven the V6, you will tell a huge difference. And 1 mpg over 1 mpg more to have a turbo 4 opposed to a V6, I would take the V6 over that any day. So what I also like to do is show an example of in-between lights. So we're gonna go about 35 now. And you see, I've only got up to 46. So finally I got up to that speed. Because of the way it's transitioning, it has to have the turbo spool up, and it's also a heavy vehicle. Yes, they've engineered it for this particular engine, but there's still no way around it. It's gonna feel heavy. You're gonna hear it pretty much all the time. And most of the time, I would say you're gonna be hitting around 3 or 4 RPMs, because that's what I personally do with my own turbocharged 4. So the refinement of the drive, not quite there. The comfort is. Technology, it's more than enough. I like that we have the super cruise control, but this doesn't work on every single road. Plus, you have to pay subscription fees after the 3 years. Interior room, it's good. Cargo and storage nooks, they do an excellent job. Great alternative to a Yukon if you're okay with a Turbo 4. I would like to see a different engine option. Hopefully in the next coming years, we'll see that trickle in, because that would transform this vehicle. And I always like to take it over some terrain that's a little bit more rough, so that way you can see how it handles with these 22-inch wheels. I'm purposely driving on the wrong side. And it doesn't penetrate too much into the cabin, obviously because they're larger wheels. If you go over some potholes, you could bend the wheels, scratch them, do a lot of things. But overall, I think the suspension holds itself pretty decent. I know the camera's probably bouncing around a little bit, but that's because of the way we have it attached to the vehicle. Because really, this is the way it actually is with me holding it now. So is this a vehicle that I could live with? Well, I personally do have a turbocharged 4 in almost a year, like I was stating on the exterior. We are thinking about trading it. I don't know. If it was a V6, it definitely would be a home run. I mean, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button and click this next video right here. And I'd like to thank our friends here at Coast GMC.